For example, sociology, some such books. I don't really deny their presence in literature. They are very much there. If they were not there, why should we propose today about social implications? Now, when I talk about Jean-Paul Sartre all on a sudden and talk about these three books, trilogy, Wars, Reprieve, Iron in the Soul, why it comes to my mind? While talking about existentialist philosophy, about talking about this book, what is literature? Why we write? And for whom authors write? And what is the significance of literature? Significance is social. Nobody writes in isolation. Nobody writes in the forest, in the jungle. There must be a listener. You see, when Valmiki produced his Ramayana, did he consider himself all alone? Never. You know about stories about Valmiki's Ramayana and all that. And in Bengali, there is a version which is definitely not in the Valmiki Ramayana, how from Ratnakara, the dacoit, he became the sage Valmiki. But you know, Valmiki has another connotation. Valmiko, you understand. You see, when termites attack our places, the termites have tendency to prepare a mound or so. So Valmiki or Ratnakara, whatever way you describe him, he was busy in great penance, and it continued for so many years. So the termites prepared a mound, and he was hidden under that. But don't you think that this is all myths? The myths are to be understood properly. The mounds prepared or erected by the termites is nothing but another name for fleeing time, time which is always moving on and on. And Valmiki represents that timeless, the infinite time. And from infinite time, he comes to us. He comes to where? He comes from Nashato Shad Ajayata, like that. Rigveda, the very famous one. From non-existence comes existence. Say, you explain it in a different way with regards to Valmiki, or for that matter, for any poet, any writer, any artist. When an artist draws a painting, before drawing the painting, it was bhek. It was only bhekvam. And from that bhekvam comes some existence. Either it is a painting, or it is a poem, or it is a literary piece, or it may be any other thing. So from non-existence, existence comes. Why? Because nobody lives in isolation. We don't want to make ourselves isolated and always feel alienated. The question of alienation is typically dealt with by the Marxist scholars. But from our another standpoint, we are also dealing with the conception of alienation. We want to come out of alienation. We don't want to be isolated. That's why we socialize. So when you talk about literature, you cannot but come to the conclusion that you want to make a relationship, you want to establish a relation, kutumbatta. You want to establish a relationship. You give it any name you like. Call it mother, call it father, call it brother, call it anything you like, call it friend. But you have to be kutumba. If you do not know how to make yourself a kutumba with the people around to whom you are speaking, then you have no business in writing. Why should you write? You go to the forest and take rest. Since you are writing something, since you are painting something, since you are creating a new tune, being a musician, you are creating a new tune. You must know and understand that you are doing this because you want an audience. As a listener, somebody should appreciate you. Now, how this appreciation is done, that is a separate issue. I'm not going into it because otherwise then my words will go to another channel, because it is something about appreciation of art, appreciation of literature, whether it should be theoretical understanding or it should be non-theoretical understanding, or in establishing social relationship, there might be a question whether any situation is possible where non-theoretical understanding is possible. I will tell you with open mind, I don't believe in any non-theoretical understanding. If you do not understand theory, this is your business. But that does not mean you want to talk about truth. That day I talked somewhat about truth content. Every literary piece, whether it is a classic or non-classic text, it has to deal with some truth content, because you have to fight with the falsehood, which is unfortunately replete nowadays all around. So you are fighting to establish truth content against all odds of falsehood. Sorry, Bengali comes. So from all parts of Mithya, falsehood, you are trying to establish Shatta. And if you understand Shatta in a Sanskritic way, you will understand it comes from Ash. That means which exists. One which exists is true. One which does not exist is not true. It is false. So there's a great philosophy underneath. When you talk about astitva, your existence, you automatically talk about truth. Because there cannot be any astitva, any existence without truth inherent in it. It is inherent. It is not imposed from outside. It comes from within. I forgot the tea was served, so let me sip a bit. I have a tendency for so long now. I have been teaching. If I tell you, you won't believe how many years I have been teaching. My teaching career, it started let me tell you, 4th April 1969. Maybe your mother or father was not born there. So, I like talking, no? Because teachers are always talkative. Not these three. They are very nice people. They are not talkative like me, okay? So, let me sip a bit. Now, another question comes. I told you at the outset. Why should somebody write a literary piece? Because he wants to communicate, he or she. I should not be gender biased, no? I must say he or she. Both there is a tendency among the literary theorists when they write, they write H capital, then in bracket S, then HE. You understand? So that they cover he and she. Nobody can be angry with them. You are very much gender biased. You are talking about the masculine ones. No truth is entirely masculine. Take it from me. It is something, if it is to be unique, if it is to be universal, it has to encompass both the genders. Okay? Of course, somebody that talks about the third gender these days. I am not going into any trouble, brother. So I will withdraw from there. Okay? Now, why we write? Why we read literature? We want to be pleased. Now, there are two great Sanskritic scholars. They will be frowning me. They will immediately jump at Mammata Bhatta. If some of you are from Sanskrit, you will understand what I'm Kappa Prakasha, no? So he has told us so many centuries back, Kabbam, Jashashe, Arthakrite, etc. Am I right or incorrect? I am so much afraid of you too. No? So when we Kabbo, you take it from Sahitya. Because Kabbo means not only poetry, literature. Will we agree or not? Okay. So if it is literature, why we write? Because we will be famous. Yashashe, Orthokrite. Because we get something, no? Very, very important, Silvatonic. And there are also other things after that about Mammata Bhatta talks about. And those other things are important. This is for delight. Also, Binodan. That is also necessary. But if you simply end up with Binodan, this is not good or great literature. You have to go beyond that. So there is a conception of the philosophers should agree with me. Beyondness is always important. You must cross over the limits. Towards what? Towards making the society pure. Because the society is not pure. If the society were pure, maybe you could have taken rest and refrained from writing a literary piece. But why you are writing piece? Because that is an imperative on you, imperative, uchitta. So the uchitta bodh also comes. You have to write. You have no other alternative. And it is talking about, you may say, sir, are you talking about only those persons who write? But we little people, we do not write. We only try to read. What about us? I have already told you. No writer writes in isolation. Did not I tell you some time back? So if nobody writes in isolation, or she, sorry, not he, H, S, he, so I should be forgiven for making my tongue slipped. Sorry. So both he and she, they organize their intellect and their talent. Prajnana Banava Unmesha Shalini Pratibhamata. Talent, without talent, nobody can do anything. You must have prajna as well. Refined, most refined knowledge is prajna. That you must know. Because nobody can really help anybody or establish relationship kutumbatta if you are not epistemologically grounded. Epistemology, you understand? Gyan Tattva. Yesterday also, that day also I talked about that. You must be very happily grounded on three things. You must know what is Gyan. You must know who is Gyan, what is to be understood or comprehended. And you must also determine and be sure that as Jnata, means one who knows, knower. Knower is not a very good English anyway. So, as a knower, as a person who is inquisitive, without inquisitiveness, nobody can attain kutumbakatta. That is, there is no doubt about it. So, after roaming here and there, we have tried to understand why somebody writes. And when you talk about why somebody writes, you automatically comes to for whom the bell tolls. You know, it is a very famous name of a book. But I'm not talking about any book here. For whom the bell tolls, for whom everything is written, for whom literature is being created, for whom a painting is being created. If there is nobody, then there is no meaning. Why you are unnecessarily wasting your time? You go to a football match and then enjoy it. But without doing that, you are trying to create. Now, Solang, I have not used that word. Create, creation. Creation, Rabindranath Tagore is a very bothering person. You know, he has unnecessarily troubled us in his books in Bengali, Srishti and Nirman. Why? Srishti is creation, Nirman is construction. There is that Govinda, I don't like Govinda, so I don't want to see his face. Can't it be that in that so simplistic? That I'm his creation, I'm construction, suppose, and we are already always quarreling. Now let us try to assuage the quarrel because Govinda is such a nice boy. So I must not quarrel with him. So you see, can any Srishti is possible? Any Srishti is possible if you do not turn it into, construct it into something which is tangible. Very, very interesting word, tangible. Indriya Pratyaksha. Either through your eyes or through your ears, by touching or through nose. If you cannot feel a phenomenon, prapancha, then what is the meaning? If a great scholar like Shanti, he gives you sermon for hours together, we are not going to be convinced. What I am trying to say that there is no quarrel between Govinda and me. That is, Srishti and Nirman are actually both sides of the same coin. Srishti is preferred by Tagore and also many other great literatures, creators. When you try to create, then you must be able to make it observable by others through some construction. I am looking at you, Shanti, because I want to say something and you will immediately catch me if I say something wrong. Shoikshata Bahushyang Prajayema. Am I correct? Or I've forgotten everything? Shoikshata. He wished, he, the great Paramatta, the supreme, forget about this Paramatta, I don't love any other. But supreme reality is there, omnipresent, omni-existent, omniscient. Now he wishes, Shoikshata, Bahushyam, I will be many. Prajayama. So he created. Now he created this very simple. I'm not going into the metaphysics or philosophical part of that. I'm neither going into ontological debate or epistemological debate on that. But for very simple reason, somebody should wish something, desire something. Unless one is desired, nothing comes out. And when something comes out, it always takes a form. So form is important. Without form, there cannot be any creation. That is, without construction, it is impossible that you will be able to talk about creation. Now, this creation, when it is transferred into the realm of construction, it creates automatically a society of its own. This society, in a very special sense, in an esoteric sense, ESOTERIC, in an esoteric sense, this is a story. This is society. This society is maybe you may call a para-society of sorts, which exists in thought, which exists in conception. If anything is possible, if you are able to conceptualize it in the proper manner. If you are not able to conceptualize something in the proper manner, how can you create? And if you are not able to conceptualize, the construction part will not come. Am I rather become unnecessarily difficult? So let me try to bring back to this world. I went high above. No? So
what is the order in the three? Conceptualize, then create, then construct, or
no, these get simultaneously. Conceptualization and creation is definitely simultaneous. You cannot say it. This is the beginning point A, and this is it after. After in single inverted comma, you also use in social sciences. I'm also a very, very clever person, so I try to take here and there, and also from somewhere from philosophy, sometimes say something post, as in postmodern. So from modern, post means after. So if thought is there, there is an afterthought, after hyphen thought, hyphenated thought. Perhaps I have become somewhat more clumsier. But this is a theoretical domain I have entered right now. After thought. But for the supreme one, there is no afterthought. Everything is simultaneous. Now, for him, no society is necessary. But for us, society is necessary. So, even if it is not theoretically tenable, we will have to devise a point in which there is a different. I began with the question of different. This different is not that different, it is another different. But alada hoye jacche, alada. We are becoming different. When, if you are not different, you have no point in creating. Say, whom should I refer to? Say, why Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay had to write? Sorry, excuse me. নেমেছিস আহমেদাবাদে? গুড গুড, ঠিক আছে, সাবধানে যাবি, পরে কথা বলবি, ফোন করিস। Sorry, my nephew has today gone to Ahmedabad. I think you have seen him with me like this. Now he has passed MSc from this university. He has gone to, there is an interview tomorrow. Sorry for my personal talk, okay? He is my very favorite nephew, so I had to take the call. He was waiting for this. Anyway, so this after, you see, after mane pore, por, I have become clumsier. So I should come back. Because it is a philosophy, to me, domain of philosophy, domain of theory. So I must come back to the domain of practice. Now see, somebody is, what is that? Tea for me. So you are a nice girl. Thank you. Thank you. She has become very much concerned about me. So, but we begin from social implication. Now, this creation and construction, how it becomes, even a theoretical proposition, becomes socially important. Because when you are talking of not only literary, but also any other creation, you must remember that you have to conceptualize in the correct manner. Otherwise, you might end up nowhere. Number one point. Number two, if you have proposed to make some creation, that creation has to be expressed. Expression. Without expression, Can there be anything? Everything has to be expressed. That is another domain. Either I can go to Sanskrit aesthetics. Of course, I do not know anything about it. I've already forgotten perhaps. But also Western aesthetics part, I can go. When I talk about expression, Abhivyakti in Sanskrit or Bangla also, Abhivyakti. That Abhivyakti is literature. If I say, what is literature? Literature is nothing but expression. Because if you are not able to express anything, so it is invalid. And something invalid cannot help you socially. You cannot help it. You cannot be helped by anything which is socially relevant, which is conceptually relevant, which is epistemologically relevant, which is ontologically relevant. Shattat Bangla ontologically irrelevant or epistemologically relevant things can be asocial only. সমাজে কোনো কাজে লাগে না. It is of no use for any society anywhere. Another thing has been right now proved. I am talking in English so much, in my very poor English, But then, as I am used to talk always in Bangla, even for so many reasons, I have to lecture also here and there. They know there's very sad experiences they have after me. So this Bengali comes to me, after all, mother tongue always tries to disturb you in between. Now, my point is, Abhivyakti is important. And when Abhivyakti is correct, this correctness has to be understood. If there is somebody from English literature, they will perhaps remember Alexander Pope. There was a theoretical debate in England in 18th century about the correctness of Alexander Pope, who wrote The Rape of the Lock, the mock epic. If there is anybody from English, they will immediately catch what I am going to say. And there also, there was a debate from the standpoint of expression, whether an expression is valid or invalid. On that, your approach for establishing relationship through literature will be helping you, otherwise not. So you must be correct in Abhivyakti, in expression. Say, you want to say, sir, you are a very bad person. And you are smiling at me, say, sir, apni khub baje look sad. So I will think, she is only praising me. And I will miss the point that you are making. You are a very notorious person. So the way you put anything carries the meaning, otherwise there is nothing. So Abhivyakti should be correct. Correctness has some other dimension, but only if it were a class in English, perhaps I would have gone further into it, but I am refraining from that. But correctness is important. If literature is correct, it will communicate. If the literature is incorrect, whatever great name might have composed it, it is of no use to you. So don't be bothered about a great name which occurs and who are promoted through your TV channels and other agencies. Don't rely on that. You ask yourself whether you are convinced that this is correct. If you are not convinced, whatever Tapodir Bhattacharya might tell you, you will just simply dismiss him. First, you ensure that you are yourself convinced about the correctness of the expression. So when we talk about the social implication, society is thirsty for the want of correctness these days. So we want correctness, correct approaches to anything you are talking about, anything you are writing about. Don't, if you want to search in this book, you will not find anything, whatever I have told you. I have a very bad habit. When I begin talking, I talk in my own way. I don't bother about what Japal Satra, what Japal Satra has talked, what this man has talked about, I don't bother. If I am in my mood, then I go on talking. But don't forget that after all, we have to come to the conclusion of that. Now there is a great problem for me. Is there any conclusion? There is no conclusion. Because you cannot ensure others about the pointedness of any literary text. It may, you see, X is very appealing to you. It may be so that X is equally rejectable by her. Are you correct? Or whether she is correct? Both. And now, don't be astonished. I would rather propose both of you are correct. Why? Because your approach matters. Her approach also matters. So we have to decide on our approaches to society, approaches to literature, approaches to aesthetics, and approaches to whatever you want. If you do not know that you are not sure about what you want, that you will never reach the goal. The goal will always elude you. সোনার হরিণ তোরা যে যা বলিস ভাই আমার সোনার হরিণ চাই, but that golden deer will always elude you. Literature is like, don't be shocked what I'm going to propose now. Literature sometimes becomes sonar horin or golden deer, which is actually elusive, and it only reaches those persons who are prepared for it and who have developed their own viewpoint. So the last, or I told you right now that there is no conclusion, but for the time being, to get into the last sip of that cup of tea, let me propose that, well, whatever you have comprehended from your experience, dictated by your intellect, dictated by your belief system. So long I did not talk about belief system. It matters much. Your belief system decides everything. You may or may not be aware of that. You are reading a great text, but your belief system does not support it. What happens? This will be futile. Would you really agree? Say you are reading Othello, or you are seeing a film, or maybe a dramatic piece, Othello. Would you support Othello for murdering Desdemona, being instigated by that villain Iago? Should we come to that conclusion? If you are being instigated by somebody, you will not ask yourself first, what I am thinking, what he is proposing to me, instigating me to do, whether it is correct. So the question of correctness is always there. For example, maybe most of you are Bengalis, so I am taking one example. Perhaps you may not be student of Bengali literature, but that text I am referring to right now may have been read by you, I think. Say, Podda Nodir Majhi. Whatever comes to my mind, I tell you. Manik Bandyopadhyay. What happens at the last? The hero, the protagonist, Kuber, he abandons his infirm wife was maybe a few days back given birth to a baby daughter, and then he absconds with Kapila to the Ocean Mia's, that island, Mayadweep. There is no question of supporting this thing of this attitude or this act of Kuber. He may or may not be an interesting character. But from him, you are definitely not taking any ethical lesson. Noitik, ethical, noitik, kono onugga, any indictment, are you taking from him? Literature does not give you any ethical indictment. It only shows to you, see, these things also happen around, and you got to choose correctly. They're not question of supporting Kuber or maybe Kopila's act of absconding with Kuber and going to a future about which we don't know anything because Manik Bandyopadhyay has not written anything. But supposing we try to write an anecdote of that what happens to Kuber and Kopila after they have reached Mayadweep. Do you know a teacher in English literature here, Dipendu Das? Perhaps you may or may not know that he is a very famous short story writer of this area. He wrote one short story, his story, deciding on whatever just now I have told you. What happens to Kuber and Kopila maybe after a few years when they are staying there? You may read and ask, the sir has told about that. Would you give your text to us we want to read? My question is that Dipendu Das has written, but we as readers are not concerned with any after. I come back there. Because your literary text ends at that very juncture of the point after which the author has no business. Author has nothing to do with what you think or any Dipendu Das, whatever he writes, what happened to him, or Kuber or Kopila. Then what is the hint that I am giving to you? Literary text, a literary piece is an end in itself. You should not demand too much from a literary text. And where it ends, it ends. There is no after. After may be possible for the great omniscient, omnipresent, but little people like us, we have no business with after. Literature has no after. It is only ever present. Literature is only ever present. It has no after. It cannot have any after. Because if you think that there will be an after, then what happens? It will be chaos. Just now, a naughty idea comes to me. What happened to Sarvadaman after Abhigyana Shakuntala's 7th act? Everybody is happy. Dushyanta is united with Shakuntala. He gets a son, Sarvadaman. Now, if you are not happy with Kalidasa, you may not be happy. I can't protest if you are not happy. And you write an after. As an afterthought, you write about what happened to Sarvadaman. But does it become a literary piece? Because you have no business with any after. That literature as a text ends at a certain point, and this is its acme. You would understand this word? A-C-M-E. Shishya Bindu in Bangla. Shishya Bindu. And there is no beyond after that. It ends where it ends. So, and on the basis of that, we decide how we should relate it to our societal necessity, samajik prayojan. We are societal necessity, we have to relate. This is our business as readers. And my last pronouncement hereafter, yes, last. Author may write so many things. Whatever he may write or she may write. But after it has been written, the author is dead. What I am saying? How is dead? I am a very bad person. Yes, I am a very bad person. I am saying the death penalty to an author. Have you heard about Rolla Barthes, a great literary theorist not after really, but in the vicinity of Michel Foucault, about whom I have just now told you. This is his idea, death of an author. Very, very famous essay. Ask anybody from English literature, they will tell you. Author is not dead. Author may be dead, yes. Authorship is dead. লেখকের লেখা শেষ হওয়ার মাত্র লেখক has no business. The author has no business. And whose business starts? Ours. We, the readers, we are the supreme. So whatever meaning we deduce from this text, this stands. So if author has completed his text, don't vex him with any further epilogue. Epilogue does not exist to any literature. Any literary piece cannot have any epilogue. Epilogue are nonsense. Sorry if you are angry with me for pronouncing such things. Epilogues are nonsense. Because at a certain point, everything should end. Yes, I agree. To my viewers, at a certain point, everything should end. I am also ending at this point. Because after that, you will be so much vexed and troubled. You will be very angry. And I am a very, should I say, I'm very much afraid of all the scholars. So I end here. Though there is no end really. There is no end. Shesh hoye hoil na to shesh. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a thought-provoking session. You just said epilogue is nonsense, and then you said there is no end to an end. First, I would request if any participant has a question, then please raise your hand, or you can directly ask.
Don't ask any tough questions.
Anybody?
I thought that I would end 15 minutes back. No, the time is I talked much. No. Time is there. Next speaker is yet to come. Oh, who is the next speaker? Professor Ramash Vikapon, statutory speaker. Oh, I see.
So, since everybody is confused, I think so. Confusion should create a question, but nobody is creating that question.
Sorry to make you confused. Sorry.
Okay, so I have a question. This is the same question I put to another speaker the other day, since that speaker was also from literature. Sir, is there a difference between fiction and myth?
Yes, it has.
What is
very subtle meaning?
Your interpretation of
my interpretation is this. You see, myth, when when we utter some word, then we must be very careful in deducing meaning from them. See, myth is something, it has originated from Greek, and mythos means one which is ancient. And etymology is very important for we small people who, like us, who have also studied Sanskrit or maybe etymology is, Utpatti is very important, is not it? So mythos is something which pertains to ancient times. But fiction means when you remember another word adjusted to it, fictionality means imaginativeness. Myth has imagination, but imagination is not sufficient for myth. It has another component which we sometimes miss. This is archetype, adikalpo. No myth can exist without having the component of archetype. Adikalpo, we say in Bangla. I have used it in my own books. I have written, I'm very ashamed to tell you, or rather share with you, notoriously large number of books. So forget about me. These are all nonsense, as I told you. So archetype is very much important. Say, you talk about, say, Zeus, Indra in our pantheon, our Vedic pantheon, our Puranic pantheon. Zeus etymologically means something, taking from the Greek roots. It means which is archaical existence. You see, in that archaical existence, the Greek consciousness did one thing. They have, very interestingly, they have copied, or rather followed, I must say followed, not copied, what happens in human society. Say there is a father, and if father wants to beget a son or a daughter, he needs a wife. So father and mother completes the family. In the Greek pantheon, when you talk about Zeus, you have to talk about Hera, his wife. Without that, it is never complete. But in fiction, fictionality is important. Imaginative is important, not that pattern. So myth has an inherent pattern within. Fiction may not have any pattern. You know, fiction is generally for we, the students of Bengali literature, we translate it in Bangla in Upannash, which is known to everybody. Fiction does not mean, of course, Upannash. These days I write Akhan in my books because I'm not going into that because this is not a class of Bengali literary theory. Otherwise, I would have gone much more into that. But it will be suffice to tell you, fiction does not have any component. It may have, but it generally, as a precondition, does not have any archetype. But myth, as a precondition, must have an archetype. Must have. Whatever myth you can talk. I've talked about, say, Jews. I'm not a foreigner. I'm a poor Indian, black Indian, or brown Indian. Let me talk about Indra, the counterpart in our Vedic or Puranic pantheon. Now, if you go into Indra, the name of Indra, he had a different name when he came from Indo-Iranian perspective. Indra is such a god who is very old, older than many others. But there is a separate issue. I'm not because I will complicate everything. Indra is somebody which connotes that he can pierce. You go into Britra myth, Britrashur. There is a Bengali book in 19th century, Britra Sanghar by Hemachandra Bandyopadhyay. But anybody who has, particularly I'm looking at you, Shanti, because you are a scholar in Vedic literature, you know that the Britra meant the piercing of a pond. It suggests that Indra, as the commander of the invading Aryans, when he defeated the Indus Valley civilization, who actually knew how to make great ponds, Britra is nothing but ponds. But there is another also explanation to that. That was a droughtkul area in which rains came in. Because, Indra also brings in Parjanya. Indra is the thunder god. And you go to our great Krishna, the naughty Krishna, not notorious, sorry, because he will curse me. So that notorious Krishna, what he did with Giri Govardhan, he challenged Indra. So why? Because he poured for 7 days and nights in Vrindavan. There was rains and rains and rains. So Parjanya. But do you really find any archetype behind that? No. These are all nature imagery, particularly deified. Nature deified. Particularly in our Vedic pantheon, nature was deified. Deva Prithvi, go there. Some belong to this earthly region, some from Java, from the other region, from the sky region. And there is sometimes a communion, sometimes there is not. That is a separate issue. In our pantheon, whatever, of course, my understanding is very little. So I understand this much, that in comprehending our myths, sometimes we may come across archetypes, but it is not as in general. But you cannot go to understand the Greek and Roman also, and also Egyptian. But I will unnecessarily take longer time, so I'm not going into that. In these myths, these are always supported by archetypes, Adikalpa. The meaning of Adikalpa has to be understood first. It is the archaic imagery, but not necessarily from the nature. It is not deduced, not necessarily from the nature. Rather, Zeus's notoriety is more pronounced in Vedic. He was notoriously loose in character. Of course, our Indra was also big. Sahasra Lochan, that will be, the reason. Anyway, I can't explain it in front of so many ladies here. So, Sahasra Lochan. But there is no archetype there. These are all anecdotes full of notoriety. In ancient civilization, notoriety is abundant. Don't curse me for saying this. But now, let me summarize. Your question was myth and fiction. So fiction is replete with imaginative prowess, ushurj, kalpanar ushurj, we say in Bengali. Prowess of imaginativeness, imagination. That is also, but that is not pronounced there. When you talk about myths, it comes from mythos, and it connotes more or less its entire reliability on archetypes, whose origin is very difficult to trace. This much I can say. Jnanam anantam. So
Sir,
I must refrain.
Dr. Ajay Kumar Barnwal.
Sure, go ahead.
Sir, good afternoon. I do not have any questions, sir. Such a thought-provoking lectures you have given. Definitely. Only I wanted to present some curiosity, sir. And what is that curiosity? We are studying a school, sir. That is Sociological School of Jurisprudence. You might be definitely knowing about it. And then Roscoe Pond is one of the prominent jurists who has spoken about the social engineering theory. When we look about the social engineering theory, sir, he said that function of law is to have maximum wants with minimum friction. So wouldn't it the friction in what reference you are looking in literature, sir? They are saying that the function of law is to have maximum wants with minimum friction. So what do you think about these frictions, whether something different meaning in literature we can think about, or is it the same meaning whatever you have right now you have discussed about?
Every discipline in our human life that we are pursuing has a habit of developing its own connotative system. So you being in the social system, you look at anything from your own standpoint. Sometime back I was telling, I think you may remember, viewpoint is important. We call in Sanskrit or Bangla, Dikha. Dikha means a special way of looking at things. You see, this looking reminds me of another thing, of a great saying of a great philosopher and theorist from Soviet Russia, Mikhail Mikhailovich Bakhtin. Incidentally, he is my Dronacharya and I am his Ekalavya. Of course, this finger is still intact. Now, he told us, you must differentiate between, in whatever discipline you are in, between English, verb, look and see. You may say that we are looking at various other things, but we may not see. Say, I may look at Govind here, or maybe Shanti here, or maybe my new friend here. But that does not guarantee that I am really seeing them. That is, comprehending the great knowledge they are mastering within themselves. I may not be able to comprehend. That means we looking and seeing is not identical according to Mikhail Bakhtin. Of course, he talked about literary theory, but I am applying it everywhere, irrespective of discipline. We must be able to, you are talking about fiction and friction. Everything, every single word may be explained in whatever way is possible. That much I have learned being only a very poor student of literature and human sciences. That's all. Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much. The session has become long.
Sorry.
No, sir. You said no. Epilogue is not. I caught that, sir. So I'll request Dr. Neelam. पहले की.
अरे बात दो लगे ना.
Okay, before we give the vote of thanks, one small token of appreciation from our side for sir. So we will do that. I request Sir Ramashankar ji to please facilitate, sir.
Department of Statistics.
I see. I was not fortunate enough to.
I now request Professor Shanti and Dr. Govind to also.
Thank you, Govind. Thank you, Shanti. Apa Shanti Antariksha Shanti.
Sir. I made a mistake. I request Dr. Uttam Paluya. Dr. Uttam?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Namaskar, Pranam. Myself, Dr. Uttam Paluya, Assistant Professor, Department of Bengali, Gurucharan College. Now it's University, Silchar. At the outset, I feel honored to have this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks for today's session, that is 27th lecture session. I would like to take this opportunity to thank today's resource person, Professor Tapodhir Bhattacharya, former Vice Chancellor, Assam University, on behalf of the organizing committee, MMTTC, for his significant and thought-provoking session on the topic social implication of literature and literary studies. I am sure that all my fellow participants, along with myself, would surely be benefited from his enlightful words. we all would look forward for his session in the days to come. Thank you once again, sir. I would also like to thank the Director MMTTC, the organizing committee, and the participants for this wonderful session. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Are we audible?
Yes.
Not really. Online participants, are we audible? Because we just lost electricity connection
sir.
here.
We are looking that there is no light.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we shall formally end this session, and now we have our next resource person already with us. So we'll shortly start with this session.
Okay, so I take leave of you. Thank you for listening to me, and I must say that you have
Thank you so
borne
much,
me for long. এটার মধ্যে কি ঢুকানো যায়? Yeah.
नहीं तो हम तो मैं ज्वाइन किए हैं 2019 में ना।
हाँ वो नहीं पता है।
Good कर रहे हैं। So we shall start the next session. We shall start the next session. So, as you all know, sir has already on the first day, our inaugural day, sir already took a session with us. So, sir is Professor Ramashankar is again going to take a session today. So, I request Dr. Anu Rani Brahma. Dr. Anu Rani Brahma.
Yes, sir. I'm audible.
Yes, yes. So please welcome sir and give a brief introduction about.
Everyone, thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to welcome and introduce the speaker for this session. I am Dr. Anurani Brahma from the Department of Political Science, Kosega College. The speaker for this session is Professor Rama Shankar, joined in 2019. Currently, he is the HOD of Department of Statistics, Assam University. Professor Shankar is an eloquent and dynamic academician. In his long span of academic career, Professor Shankar has worked in different institutions at various capacities, both at national and international level. Before joining Assam University in 2019, Sir was holding the post of Honorary Deputy Director in Devendra Mishra Institute of Statistics from 2018 until 2019. He also taught statistics in ITRA Institute of Technology from 2012 to 2018 and in the College of Business and Economics, Al Halik, ITRIA from 2006 to 2012. Professor Shankar also taught operational research in Mathematics Department, Patna University from 1998 to 2005. He has also served as an academic counselor in Nalanda Open University from 2004 until 2006, and also at IGNOU Study Center in the Government Polyclinic Institute, Patna. His research interests include operational research, distribution theory, biostatistics, statistical inference, computational statistics, medical statistics, and reliability and survival analysis. He has been a prolific writer and has contributed a number of research papers in both national and international journals. With this short introductory speech, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome you, sir, in this session and request you to speak on relation between teaching and research and its impact for social transformation. We, the participants, are surely going to benefit and learn from your knowledge and expertise. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? Am I audible? Those who are
Yes,
listening online.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So good afternoon to one and all. And if you remember, in the first lecture, I talked about the leadership qualities in the higher learning institutions, starting from faculty up to the vice chancellors. And there I have talked about some of the qualities. And in fact, whatever the lecture I have given in the previous time, that was based on my experience. That basically I'm a statistician. So whatever I felt that I delivered. Even today, whatever the lecture I am going to deliver is based on my personal experience, what I felt during my teaching and teaching experience and with the research experience I gained through interacting with different people in India, outside India, at different levels. So that is totally based on my personal experience. That is how I perceive teaching and how I perceive research that I'm going to talk. So if you see the slide, in the first page I have mentioned about that there are 5 purposes of teaching and research. That is how I perceive. Please, yeah. Like see, can you increase it that bigger size? I think you see, I already gave the slide so you can get it. Just you please focus on, because see, teaching is a two-way process. We have to go for the interaction. It is not increasing. No, why don't you make it full size? Zoom, full size. Oh. I should have sent a Word file. Is it visible? Okay. So see here, that 5 purpose I have mentioned. Okay. Number 1 is to improve the condition of human existence and natural environment. Okay. What I perceive that the basic purpose of education research, number 1 is to improve the condition of human existence and natural environment. Second is to impart systematic knowledge based on facts, truths known by actual experience or observation or experiments. Third is we have to combine practical skills and moral grounding. Okay. Fourth, develop skills including 4C. 4C means we want the young children to be creative, critical thinkers, who have good communication skill and collaboration. In fact, if you go to the private sector or any organization, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you want to yourself to be employable in a good company, then you should have these 4 qualities. That is critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and good communication skill. And the last one is that when involved in teaching and research, we should inculcate the essence of the quote of the greatest philosopher, Patanjali, among all students. If you ask me honestly, I have never saw a quote better than what the Patanjali has said. Please see here, listen it. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations, your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person than you ever dreamed yourself to be. So how do you perceive about this quote? Please. Have you heard about this quote? इस कोट का देखिए, अच्छा, all are understanding हिंदी, or is there anyone who?
Hindi or English both?
Okay. देखिए इस कोट में जो मुख्य बात है वो ये है कि आपका जितना बड़ा ऑब्जेक्टिव्स रहेगा, जितना बड़ा पर्पस रहेगा, जितना बड़ा एम रहेगा, उतने ही ज्यादा आपके अंदर एनर्जी जनरेट होगा. The purpose is higher, then you will feel more energetic and more enthusiastic to do the work. Nowadays, the major problem of the whole world is that almost 95% people of this world, they don't have a bigger purpose. What the purpose they have? Just somehow I have to get a job. Somehow I have to get a degree. Then what is happening? Your domain is very small. It means that the dormant forces that you have inside your body, you are not activating it. So the first criteria should be that your purpose should be much, much higher than you wish. Okay. Second is the sixth one. We must always remember the quote of the Upanishad, which says that, please say, those who are from Sanskrit, they might know it. Whatever you think, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you say, whatever you feel, whatever you do, you attract to. You attract to. Means that just now the sir was talking about that when I am seeing, it does not mean that I am reading you, or I am trying to understand about you or see something. Because seeing and thinking are entirely different. In the same way, your feeling is different. And let me tell you here, have you heard about the law of attraction? It is based on this one. That's why if you remember in the ancient Indian, even now also many families, they will tell to their children that please see good, hear good, think good, speak good, feel good, and do the good. And once these 6 components convert, that is meet at one point, then there is a high probability or there is a high chance that you will achieve. Let me tell you here one experience that what I felt when I was abroad. Nowadays, if you go to a doctor and with your parents, and suppose the doctor have examined that your parents have diabetes, then the doctor will ask that, okay, whether your dad's parents or other parents, they were having something, and if they find it, then they will declare. What if they will declare? It is genetic, so you will get it. But I am completely in disagreement with this assessment. I don't agree with this.
Yes, sir.
Yes. No disease in this world is genetic. If someone is telling, it means that they don't understand the real genetic structure and the power of the thoughts of the gene. For example, if suppose Mr. X have identified to be diabetic, then what will happen? All the family members, they will talk about the word diabetes. Whenever the other people are coming, they will say that, oh, see, my mother or my father, they have been identified as diabetic. He should not take this food, he should take this medicine, he should follow this routine, this and that. So on an average, if you remember, if somebody is affected by some problem in your home, then at least 30 times you will use that word diabetes or whatever the problems you have. In statistics, we are teaching one theorem, we call it central limit theorem. It says that if you repeat something 30 times a day, then your situation will become like that. If you repeat the same sentence regularly, at least 30 times a day, or continuously at least 21 days or 1 month, then there is a high probability that you will become that. And the same thing is happening in our society. Even about the cancer, the same thing is happening. So the first thing is that once somebody identified with the problem, never talk about the problem. Never talk about the problem. Even though if you know, just talk on different topics. Try to get rid of that one. But what is happening? We will feel more comfortable. Oh, I heard that you have this problem. Oh, I am so sorry to hear this. Then what is happening? You are emotional, making the situation emotional with yourself, and all the sense and organs of your body is receiving that thought. Then what will happen? The passage of time, you will go. There is no doubt. So please, in that respect, I have mentioned this Upanishad, that whatever you think, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you say, whatever you feel, whatever you do, you attract to. So please control these 6 things, you will control yourself. Control these six things, you control yourself and divert your situation in the better way. Okay. Now here, let me give you one example that I have here. I have mentioned that the law of attraction of personal example. When first time I went abroad and joined the College of Business Economics as an assistant professor in 2006. Then, of course, it was African country separated from Ethiopia in the year 91. So infrastructure was not that much. Research atmosphere was not that much. Even the local faculty and all the expatriates, they will always talk that, okay, here we cannot do research, just focus on the teaching. In India, I was very active researcher. So what happened? I was also singing the same song. Yes, here environment is not good, so we cannot do the research. And to be honest with you, from 2006 to 2012, I did not do a single work. I did not publish a single research paper. Of course, there were 2 reasons. One reason was that I was after my PhD, I want to do a different things. And second, I was singing the same song that the whole environment in the college, whether I talk with the Indian, whether I talk with the expatriates from other countries, they will say that here environment is not good, so we cannot do research. Just focus on teaching, get the salary, enjoy the life. So what happened? I was hearing that environment is not good. I was feeling that environment is not good. I was saying that environment is not good. And I was seeing that environment is not good. So all the 6 components was converging on the environment is not conducive for research. So my subconscious mind, I accepted that yes, research cannot be done. I'm really exhausted. Then in 2012, I decided that no, I have to change my perception. And to change the perception, I told him that straightforward that now I am leaving to India. I don't want to work here because I have given wrong information to my subconscious mind. I have to, what we call undo button. Whatever wrongly I have fed up to my subconscious mind, I have to get rid of. I left the job. Then almost 4.5 months, I was just traveling to different places and just, in fact, here I did not bring the sentence. And just, always since morning to evening, I was just repeating 3 sentences. I am, if you want to note down it, please note down. First sentence was that I am open and receptive to, I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance of this creation. I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance of this creation. I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance of this creation. Second thing was that day by day, second was this. I love, respect, and approve of myself exactly as I am. I love, respect, and approve of myself exactly as I am. Third was that I love, respect, and approve of myself exactly as I am. And the third was day by day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Thank you. Day by day, in every way, I am getting better and better, younger and younger. Younger and younger. यानी हर दिन हर तरह से हम बेहतर हो रहे हैं, यंग हो रहे हैं. And to your surprise, in fact, some more, but these 3 I was focusing. And to your surprise, within 3.5 months or almost around 4 months, I fully recovered. And what happened? I got my lost energy and everything I got. Then again, they called me. I joined with a promotion to associate professor. And then I started working there. And then I did not focus on what was happening previously. Just I changed my perception from the environment is not conducive to the environment is very conducive. So see the power of this quote from the Upanishad. Okay, so please, whenever you have the problem, just focus with that. Now the second one is that here I have given one how a poor boy achieved A grade in all the subjects. The simple experiment what I did while teaching. One day when I was teaching in the class, then one of the students approached me and asked me that, sir, although I am a very poor student, but I want to achieve A grade in all the subjects. Is it possible? I told him, yes. Why not? Then he told that, could you please suggest me a way? Then very simple technique I did. Just like that, suppose this is a blackboard, right? So left side, in fact, I advise him to write on a piece of paper, like this is a white, okay? So left side, I told him to write the name of the courses, that 5 or 6 courses he was having, mathematics, statistics, English, computer, whatever. And right side, I told him that with color you write the grades, A. And simply I told him that suppose if he is sleeping in this way, then right side in front of his eye he should see mathematics A, statistics A, computer A, or whatever the course A. And just you focus. But then when you feel dizzy or sleep, you go for sleep. The morning when you get up, again you go and focus for that. This is number 1. Number 2, that the Upanishad quote, that even if someone asks that how is your preparation, you said, yes, it is very fantastic, very good, I am going to get A grade. Plus you feel it. In English, there is a word we always say that act as if. यानी जो आप प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं उसके अनुसार आप एक्ट कीजिए। कहा भी गया है फर्स्ट डिजर्व देन डिजायर, यानी जो चीज हम प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं उसके लिए हम निमित्त बने। You have to open for that one. अब हम चाह रहे हैं कि हमें अच्छा नौकरी मिले या अच्छी पहचान बने और हम लो प्रोफाइल लेकर घूम रहे हैं, ये तो संभव नहीं है। इसका मतलब कि आपका थिंकिंग और फीलिंग क्या हो रहा है, कंट्राडिक्ट कर रहा है। तो जो ही ये 6 कंपोनेंट हो गए, आप जो सोचते हैं और आप जो महसूस करते हैं, अगर ये कंट्राडिक्टरी है तब हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी कि आपको अचीवमेंट नहीं है। डिजीज में भी वही प्रॉब्लम है। आदमी डॉक्टर के पास जाता है, मेडिकेशन लेता है, अब सोचता तो है कि ठीक हो जाए, लेकिन भीतर से डरा हुआ रहता है, बराबर सोचता है पता नहीं ठीक होगा। तो योर फीलिंग इज द कमांड टू द यूनिवर्स। जो आप महसूस करते हैं दैट इज द कमांड टू द यूनिवर्स। तो वही होगा जो आप महसूस करते हैं, वह नहीं होगा जो आप सोचते हैं। इसलिए कहा जाता है कि फीलिंग इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन योर थिंकिंग। आप अपने आप ने आपके बारे में जो सेंटेंस लिखा है ना कि आई लव रिस्पेक्ट एंड अप्रूव ऑफ माई सेल्फ एग्जैक्टली एज आई एम, तो उस लड़के को हम एक्सपेरिमेंट कहे, आप बराबर हम उसको और भी बताए थे कि लिखो थैंक यू गॉड, चूंकि वो अब्रोड था, थैंक यू गॉड फॉर थैंक यू गॉड आई अचीव ग्रेड ए इन मैथमेटिक्स, थैंक यू गॉड आई अचीव ग्रेड ए इन स्टैटिस्टिक्स, लाइक दिस। उसको बोले कि एक पेज तुम रोज लिखो। टू योर सरप्राइज वो लास्ट सेमेस्टर जाते जाते उसका पूरा पेपर में ग्रेड आया, एंड नाउ ही इज असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर इन दिस Boston University. He did PhD in biostatistics. So it is very very powerful. यानी जो आप सोचते हैं और वही आप फील करते हैं तो आप वहां पर पहुंच जाएंगे। तो ये मतलब हम टीचिंग में 2 एक्सपेरिमेंट वहां पर किए थे। इफ यू चेंज द परसेप्शन द होल सिनेरियो विल चेंज। Whatever the environment is there, if your perception is at high level, nobody is going to stop you. So ये आपके हाथ में है। यानी पहले आप कुछ आदत बनाते हैं और बाद में आदत आपको बनाते हैं। एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग फर्स्ट वी मेक ए हैबिट एंड देन हैबिट विल मेक अस। अब अभी जो उसमें सेंटेंस हमने दिया है कि आई लव रिस्पेक्ट एंड अप्रूव ऑफ माई सेल्फ एग्जैक्टली आ जाए, अब इसे लव ही है। अब जैसे एक सिंपल है, प्लीज बी ऑनेस्ट, अगर हम आप लोगों से कहें कि हमको 10-10 रुपए देंगे, कितने लोग देने के लिए तैयार होंगे? प्लीज रेज हैंड। हम 10 रुपए मांग रहे हैं आप लोगों से, हमें देंगे? सब लोग देंगे? ठीक है, पूछेंगे नहीं क्यों चाहिए? नहीं, वो तो दूर की बात। अब वही अगर हम कहें कि हमको अभी आप लोग 5,000 रुपए दीजिए, नहीं होगा। क्यों नहीं होगा? उसका कारण जैसे बहुत सारा हो सकता है, उसका कारण तो हो सकता है बैग में भी आपके पास नहीं है। तो इंसान के पास जो होता है ना वही देगा। जैसे कहने वाले कि देखे होंगे कोई आदमी बराबर गुस्से में रहता है ना, तो क्योंकि उसके पास गुस्सा है तो गुस्सा ही देगा ना। कोई आदमी आपके अंदर रिस्पेक्ट की भावना नहीं है तो आपको रिस्पेक्ट करेगा? वो नहीं करेगा। जो व्यक्ति खुद से प्यार नहीं करता है दूसरे को प्यार करेगा क्या? तो वो सेंटेंस जो हमने लिखा है ना कि आई लव रिस्पेक्ट एंड अप्रूव ऑफ माई सेल्फ एग्जैक्टली आ जाएगा। पहले व्यक्ति को खुद से प्यार करना सीखना चाहिए, पहले व्यक्ति खुद को रिस्पेक्ट दे और पहले व्यक्ति खुद को एक्सेप्ट करे, खुद को स्वीकार करे, तभी ना दूसरे को स्वीकार करेगा। तो ये जो आज सोसाइटी में जितनी सारी जो बुराइयां हो रही है, तो हम लोग तो सीधा कहते हैं कि भाई पर्सन ने गलत कर दिया, तो पर्सन के अंदर वही है। वो खुद को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करता है तो दूसरे को रिस्पेक्ट करेगा क्या? वो खुद से प्यार नहीं करता है तो दूसरे को प्यार करेगा क्या? नहीं कर सकता है। इसीलिए वो सेंटेंस, इसीलिए सबसे बड़ी जो प्रॉब्लम है वर्ल्ड की एज ए स्टैटिस्टिशियन जो हमारा फाइंडिंग्स है कि 90% लोग खुद से प्यार नहीं करते। 100 में 90 व्यक्ति खुद से प्यार नहीं करता है। 100 में 90 व्यक्ति खुद को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं देता है और 100 में 90 व्यक्ति खुद को स्वीकार नहीं करता है। जो इंफीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स है जैसे किसी को है कि भाई हमारा हाइट कम है, किसी को है कि हमारा बाल ठीक नहीं है, किसी को है कि नोज मेरा ठीक नहीं है, किसी का है कि स्किन मेरा ठीक नहीं है, तो किसी को है भाई हम तो पुअर है, किसी को है कि हमारे पेरेंट्स ने सपोर्ट नहीं किया, तो किसी को कुछ नहीं, कोई ना कोई समस्या से जड़ी। अरे भैया इससे क्या होगा, ये सॉन्ग गाने से क्या मिलेगा? यू विल नॉट गेट एनीथिंग. What has happened? Forget about that one. Now what you want to be, that is more important than what you were earlier. तो changing perception is very much important. तो हमने जो सेंटेंस फ्रेम किया था वहां भी कई लोगों पर एक्सपेरिमेंट हमने किया था कि पहले व्यक्ति को खुद से प्यार करना सीखना चाहिए, खुद को स्वीकार कीजिए और खुद को रिस्पेक्ट दीजिए, तब आप दूसरे को दे सकते हैं। जो मेरे पास होगा वही हम दे सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट जो है, तो देखिए यहां था कि रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन टीचिंग और रिसर्च। तो टीचिंग में होता क्या है कि टीचर शुड फर्स्ट लव हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ, रिस्पेक्ट हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ and accept himself or herself, then only he or she can deliver these quality to the young minds, and so that young mind can do it. Now the good teaching and good research will fight with each other. Sometimes good research will hamper your teaching, sometimes the good teaching will hamper your research, but both will help each other, both will help each other. तो अब इसमें है कि चेंज द स्लाइड प्लीज। अब जैसे देखिए टीचिंग का क्या है, अभी जो प्रॉब्लम आप भी टीचर हैं सब लोग वो महसूस करते होंगे कि एज ए टीचर फर्स्ट हम लोग ही सोचते हाउ एंथुसियास्टिक वी आर व्हाइल गोइंग टू द क्लास, आर वी पैशनेट इनफ टू गो टू द क्लास। जैसे होता क्या है कि हम लोग कोई अच्छा चीज देखने के लिए कहीं जाते हैं या कि कोई ऐसा प्रोग्राम है तो बहुत एंथुसियास्टिक होते हैं, वही एंथुसियाज्म हमें चाहिए क्लास में जाने के पहले। अगर हम खुश नहीं हैं, अगर हम बहुत फंटास्टिक नहीं महसूस कर रहे हैं, आई कैन नॉट डिलीवर माय बेस्ट लेक्चर। और आप भी देखे होंगे स्टूडेंट लाइफ में अभी भी महसूस है, बहुत सारे लोग क्लास जाने के पहले खुश नहीं होते हैं। तो हमने पिछला दिन कहा था कि when a singer is not enjoying his or her singing, will the audience enjoy his or her singing? जब डांस करने वाला खुद ही अपने डांस से खुश नहीं है तो देखने वाला उसके डांस से खुश रहेगा क्या? नेवर एवर। उसी तरह से अगर हम टीचिंग करने में हम अपना एंथुसियाज्म पैसा नहीं दिखला पा रहे हैं तो हमारे स्टूडेंट नहीं हैप्पी होंगे, नहीं खुश रह पाएंगे। तो टीचिंग शुड बी अ पैशन। अब से हम एक मेंशन किए हुए हैं some measures to enhance research। नहीं, थर्ड स्लाइड, थर्ड में तुम चले गए ना, उसके पहले वाले में, उसके पहले उसका मेन हम ब्रीफ कर दे रहे हैं इसमें। अब देखिए इसमें क्या है, टीचिंग शुड बी ए पैशन, ए टीचर शुड फोकस ऑन। अब यहाँ देखिए पहला हम किए हैं चैंटिंग एंड रिपीटेशन। चैंटिंग एंड रिपीटेशन मीन्स, जैसे आपको याद होगा कि बहुत सारे घरों में या पहले जो ओल्ड एज में होंगे, मतलब जो 20-35 ईयर्स पास किए होंगे, तो जनरली स्कूल वगैरह में या कॉलेजेस वगैरह में प्रार्थना हुआ करता था, या घर में भी सब लोग एक साथ बैठते थे, कुछ करते थे। तो उसका क्या होता है, एक इम्पैक्ट होता है। यू आर क्रिएटिंग ए इन्वायरमेंट विच इज वेरी कंड्यूसिव एंड विच विल अफेक्ट योर टेम्परामेंट। लेकिन आज के ये तो होता नहीं है, अभी तो खत्म हो गया है। और रिपीटिशन वर्ड है कि जिस चीज को आप बार बार दोहराते हो वो धीरे धीरे आप में आने लगे। तो वी हैव टू रिपीट दैट वन। सेकेंड है ग्रुप लर्निंग। जैसे हमने कहा था कि कोलैबोरेशन बहुत जरूरी है, टीचिंग का फोकस कोलैबोरेशन पर होना चाहिए। तो क्लास में ग्रुप लर्निंग का एक बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंस है। फिर है retention and discipline, oral learning, training, trained memory and concentration skills that remain valuable। मतलब कि अब जैसे देखिए डिसिप्लिन का है, हम पिछला दिन भी कहे थे कि एकेडमिक लीडरशिप में डिसिप्लिन बहुत जरूरी है। उसी तरह से एज ए टीचर हम बराबर ये फील करते हैं कि ये स्टूडेंट क्लास में जब आता है तो सिर्फ हमसे नॉलेज लेने के लिए नहीं आता है। he or she is watching my all, how I dress, how I talk, how I am entering the class, whether I am sitting in the office, on all these quality they are observing, and they will imbibe those qualities. So if I am not disciplined teacher, then whether I can expect this discipline from my students? Never. तो पहले तो हमें वो बनना पड़ेगा जो क्वालिटी हम स्टूडेंट में लाना चाहते हैं। वही है फर्स्ट डिजर्व देन डिजायर, यानी पहले आप तो पालन कर लें, तभी तो उसको देखेंगे। नेक्स्ट है डायलॉग एंड डिबेट। The teaching learning is a two-way process. Does not mean that whatever I should speak, people should listen. They have to challenge it. They have to discuss it. Because through discussion, many important points will emerge out. यहाँ पर एक हम लिखे हैं अर्ली राइजिंग, लेकिन मॉडर्न युग में लोग अर्ली राइजर नहीं है, नहीं होते हैं। लेकिन हमको लगता है कि गोविंद शर्मा जी अर्ली राइजर है। क्योंकि संस्कृत वाले जो है वो आप है ना जल अर्ली राइजर, थोड़ा लेट उठते हैं। हम तो रेगुलर 3 बजे उठते हैं, मेरा रूटीन है। क्या
बहुत ज्यादा
नहीं, तो हम 9 बजे सो जाते हैं, 9 बजे सो जाते हैं, 3 बजे हम जगते हैं। क्या
9 बजे सो नहीं पाते हैं?
नहीं, तो वो बनाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग का जो एंशिएंट इंडिया का जो बनाया हुआ है, मतलब 3 लेटेस्ट 4 बजे तक तो बेड आपको छोड़ना ही है। इफ यू वांट ए गुड हेल्थ एंड गुड विजडम, then you should leave your bed by 4 o'clock. I think Dr. Govind Sharma will agree with me. सूर्योदय से पहले।
सूर्योदय यहाँ पहले हो जाता है,
4:30 पौने 5 बजे होता है।
हाँ, तो हम लोग 5 बजे जागते हैं।
तो उसका भी एक बहुत बड़ा बेनिफिट है। और टू योर सरप्राइज, ये जो हम लिखे हैं जो अर्ली राइजर, इंडिया में हम अर्ली राइजर नहीं थे। जब डिफेंस मिनिस्टर हमारा दोस्त था, वो जो है इस नियम को पालन करता, हर दिन 3 बजे जगता था। हमसे पूछा एक दिन आप कितने बजे जगते हो? लोग लगे हम तो 6 बजे 7 बजे जगते हैं। क्यों? आप इंडियन होते हुए भी लेट से जगते होंगे, क्यों? अब भाई इंडिया आपका तो स्क्रिप्चर कहता है कि सूर्योदय के पहले जगना है, हम लोग पालन कर रहे हैं, आप लोग नहीं करते हो। तो हमें उस दिन बड़ा खराब लगा। हम बोले अरे ये फॉरनर होके पालन कर रहा, हम क्यों नहीं? वहां का प्रेसिडेंट भी अर्ली राइजर है, वो प्रेसिडेंट भी वही 3 बजे जगता है उसका, और 3 से 5 उसका स्टडी आवर, फिर वो वर्क करेगा। और आज भी वहां का प्रेसिडेंट हमको लगता है अप्रोचिंग ही जे अराउंड 76-77, ही इज वेरी एक्टिव एंड डायनामिक। तो इसका एक इम्पैक्ट है, इसका एक इम्पैक्ट है। ऑफकोर्स मेडिटेशन है, योगा तो जरूरी है, बैलेंस लाइफ स्टाइल जरूरी है। अब यहाँ देखिए हम लिखे हैं सम मेजर्स, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे, टू एनहांस रिसर्च एंड क्वालिटी आउटपुट। जैसे उस दिन भी प्रोफेसर शांति पोखरियाल जी बोल रहे थे कि अभी जो रिसर्च हो रही है, द क्वालिटी इज नॉट देयर, क्वांटिटी इज मोर बट क्वालिटी इज लेस। देन व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? प्रॉब्लम्स तो बहुत सारे हैं, लेकिन हम एनहांस करने के लिए देखिए पहला लिखे फंडिंग फॉर रिसर्च। Nowadays there is no problem of funding in India. Second, infrastructure for research. देखिए में लोग क्या समझते हैं कि बहुत सारा फैसिलिटी होगा, if we have more facility then we can do research, but that is not true. Even with minimum facility you can do a great research. The only requirement is your purpose should be great. Your purpose should be great. Of course, manpower for research, even nowadays there is no shortage of manpower. Policies for research. Research की policy, I think in India the policies for research are very clear. Because you have to do the research either the pure theoretical or combined with theory and practice, and third is pure applied. In fact, nowadays the great need for India is to focus more on applied research. Okay. Next, incentives for research. Of course, of government of India has already so much incentives for research they are giving. Collaborative research, because interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, we have to join together. Like see, social science with physical science, and like that they can join, they can do the work. Then contextual and need-based research. अच्छा, आप लोगों से अगर पूछें कि नाउअडेज व्हाट इज द ग्रेटेस्ट प्रॉब्लम ऑफ इंडिया एज ए टीचर, प्लीज कुड यू प्लीज टेल मी? क्या है? अरे एक दो प्रॉब्लम बोलिए ना। एज ए टीचर आपने क्या महसूस किया? अभी सोसाइटी का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या है? हैं? आप स्कॉलर हैं? अच्छा ठीक है, एज ए स्कॉलर ही बोलिए, क्या प्रॉब्लम आपको लगता है? सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या है इंडिया के लिए? टीचर सब कहाँ चले गए? अरे उस दिन तो थे कुछ ना।
हेलो सर, माय नेम इज
हाँ।
प्रांजलि, डॉक्टर प्रांजलि। आपका ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ही क्लिष्ट है। कोई एक अगर हम लोग को चुनना पड़े तो मेरे अनुसार
हाँ।
से होगा कि बच्चों को जैसे डिग्री बांटी जा रही है शिक्षा के नाम पर,
हाँ।
उसको उस पे थोड़ा चेक करना पड़ेगा। बच्चों को थोड़ा सिंसियरिटी, जो हम लोग कह रहे हैं जेनजीज हैं, इनको ऐसे ही पढ़ाना है, तो शिक्षा का जो मापदंड है वो हम लोग बहुत लो करते जा रहे हैं धीरे धीरे। उस पे हम लोगों को थोड़ा सा चिंतन करने की आवश्यकता है।
आई एब्सोल्युटली एग्री विद दिस वन। अब देखिए, इस पर हम एक कहते हैं कि शिक्षा का स्तर जो है वो लो होते जा रहा है इंडिया में। आई एब्सोल्युटली, और ये इंडिया में नहीं पूरी दुनिया में इसको लो किया जा रहा है। और इसका कारण आप जानते हैं?
सर,
शिक्षा का स्तर, यानी जो आज से 20-25 साल पहले जो शिक्षा का स्तर था, जो क्वेश्चन का पैटर्न था, जो स्टैंडर्ड था, आज वो नहीं है। इवन वो ऑक्सफोर्ड, कैम्ब्रिज, हार्वर्ड,
बिल्कुल
प्रिंसटन ये नहीं है। उसका एक ही मात्र कारण है। अब
बिल्कुल
आपको
सर।
हमें एक आपको कोट बतलाते हैं। साउथ अफ्रीका में यूनिवर्सिटी है, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ नेशनल। उसके गेट पर ही लेफ्ट साइड में एक कोटेशन बहुत बढ़िया से लिखा हुआ है। एग्जैक्ट हमको
जी
याद
सर।
नहीं है, लेकिन उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि अगर किसी देश को आप बर्बाद करना चाहते हैं तो आपको एटम बम और परमाणु बम की जरूरत नहीं है। सिर्फ
जी सर।
एजुकेशन के लेवल को कम कर दीजिए। उससे क्या होगा?
जी
The poor quality teacher will produce, the poor quality doctors will come, the poor quality engineers will come, the poor quality judges will come, and poor quality administrators will come. And with their poor experience, they will make the system poor, and with passage of time, the whole system will corrupt. Do you agree?
एब्सोल्युटली
और आज
राइट
यही
सर।
आज
Okay,
यही
sir.
हो रही है। देयर इज द पर्पस बिहाइंड दैट वन। और इसका कारण क्या है कि हम पहले ही कहा था कि बेसिक, वो पहले लेक्चर में हमने दिया था कि द बेसिक पर्पस ऑफ एजुकेशन इज टू ब्रिंग द डिवाइन पावर ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग विद इन। और डिवाइन पावर क्या है? हमारी ऑनेस्टी है, इंटेग्रिटी है, एथिक्स है, हमारा पैशन है, हमारा वो अकाउंटेबिलिटी है, हमारा वो सिंपैथी है, एम्पैथी है। तो आज जो है एक पर्पसली इसको लोअर किया जा रहा है ताकि यू कैन नॉट बी अ ग्रेट थिंकर। इफ यू आर अ ग्रेट थिंकर, you will not go with the crowd and you will challenge the system. तो इसीलिए हम बराबर कहते हैं कि we have to, देखिए सोसाइटी में इन लोगों को बहुत टफ होने की जरूरत है। अगर चाहते हैं कि the good teaching and good research will go, then teachers should be tough, extremely tough. Number 2, the doctor should be tough. अगर डॉक्टर को ऑपरेशन करना है तो चीर फाड़ करेगा तो पेशेंट को थोड़ा दर्द तो होगा ना। अगर डॉक्टर सोचेगा कि नहीं इसको तो दर्द होगा, वो नहीं कर पाएगा। उसी तरह से पेरेंट्स, अगर पेरेंट्स बच्चों के प्रति टफ नहीं होंगे, वो लिबरल होंगे, तो क्या होगा? बच्चा अच्छा नहीं करता। और आज यही हो रही है। टीचर भी हम लोग क्या होते हैं? अच्छा स्टूडेंट है, चलो इसको पास कर, लेकिन ये नहीं सोचते हैं कि आगे जाके कितना राइटअप फैलाएगा, तो पूरा सिस्टम तो करप्ट होगा। तो बस यही है, to lower the quality of education, lower the standard of education, to make everything lower. अभी आप देख रहे हैं ना, एक समय था कि जजेस के बारे में कोई बोलता नहीं था। इतने नहीं, सोसाइटी में जिवन जो 10th पास करते थे, ग्रेजुएशन पास करते थे, we are having the feeling that he or she is a great personality. आज जो है वो हाईली एजुकेटेड है लेकिन हाईली करप्ट भी है।